We're going to take a closer look tonight at a Boston anchorwoman's decision this week to step down. Television anchors often come and go, and so you might ask, why single out this woman? For more than 35 years, Natalie Jacobson has delivered the headlines, but she's made headlines too. Her questions could make or break a campaign, and her candor didn't always make her popular with her bosses, but it did with her viewers. When Natalie Jacobson first wanted to be a television reporter in the early 70s, she was not what they were looking for. She was a woman. So she worked behind the scenes, pushing for an audition that finally came.
We went through a 3-day process of intense questioning, testing my ability to write, see if I have a brain, do I know anything about what's going on in the world, and then got the job.
Jacobson spent 2 years as the only female reporter in her newsroom. And those same bosses, initially wary of hiring a female reporter, soon wanted Natalie to be an anchor. And not long after, Jacobson would marry the man who would become her longtime co-anchor.
Good evening, I'm Chet Curtis.
I'm Natalie Jacobson.
Chet and Nat, as they were called, navigated the tragedies and the triumphs.
It's just incredible how much has been done just for her.
Natalie's pregnancy made headlines. At 37, she was considered old by some. She jokes one newspaper dubbed it the geriatric pregnancy.
I finally got pregnant, and one lady sent a little doll and a note. And the note said, if your mom were still alive, she would tell you these things. And I just bawled.
Her audience grew so attached, there was outrage over the reaction from this one-time gubernatorial candidate to one of Natalie's questions.
What do you see as your strength, and if you will, if you think you have one, a weakness?
I think that my strength is competence, and my strength is honesty.
Okay, and your weakness?
And I think that I'll let you find the weakness. I don't have to go around telling you what's wrong with me.
Political interviews were the kind of fare Natalie fought to keep, just as out-of-town consultants were hired at stations across the country to help them become faster and flashier. Natalie spoke out against it, and there were hundreds of letters from peers across the country applauding Jacobson's backbone. We asked some researchers, when was the last time Natalie wasn't number one at 6 o'clock? And they said, we can't remember when she wasn't number one.
Isn't that nice? Well, don't dig too deeply. Maybe you'll find it.
At 63 and still number one, Natalie announced next week will be her last. A difficult decision, she says, but one that comes at a time when she says there's less time in local news for her style of reporting. There were tears from her team and tears from the Trailblazer, too.
I used to say in '72, someday it's going to be equal. It won't matter if you're a boy or a girl. And that happened. And that was a wonderful thing. And now, as you well know, the business is predominantly women. And I'm not sure why that is.
Well, you know,
maybe we're just better than you guys. I don't know. Just kidding.
You heard it here first. In her case, there's no question. Natalie's next move, a website in the works for baby boomers who, like herself, may be ready for the next chapter. She's calling it My Next Big Thing. And when asked who will replace Natalie, her general manager, Bill Fine, said this week, you cannot replace Natalie.